Hello and welcome everyone. I know it's been a while, but today we're going to be taking a look at some awesome new games for Sega's classic consoles. Thanks to user Falling Awake for suggesting that I follow up my previous homebrew videos. This time we're going to be looking at 3 games for the Sega Genesis/Mega Drive and 3 for the Master System. Stick around after the break. Tanglewood is an impressive and ambitious indie title released for the Sega Genesis and Steam in 2018. Published by Big Evil Corporation, the story involves a young creature named Nim who is separated from his family after sunset. Fighting the dangers that come out at night, your goal is to survive until the morning and make it back home. Tanglewood is a platformer with a dynamic day and night cycle. With fluid animation and a captivating atmosphere, there's puzzles to solve and power-ups to utilize to your advantage. The soundtrack complements the gameplay and kicks into high gear when a threat is present. There are no crazy attacks at your disposal, so you have to think on your feet, like luring an enemy towards a cliff and crushing them with a large rock. Pushing different colored fuzzy creatures to the right location will grant you various abilities like gliding, slowing down time, or even the power to ride on top of the bad guys. Purchasing the Steam version automatically grants you access to a ROM that can be placed on a flash cart or a Raspberry Pi. I initially overlooked Tanglewood, but if you give it a chance, you won't be disappointed. Griel's Quest for the Holy Poron is technically a port of an old MSX2 game from 1989, but its existence is so obscure I figured this 2018 remake deserves some recognition. The story involves the evil K-Bra, a sinister villain who loves capturing princesses and moving them from castle to castle, playing video games and rocking out on his guitar. You play as a hero aiming to stop his shenanigans and save the day. The story is mostly a means to set up the action and probably won't win any awards, but the gameplay is very well designed and encourages you to think about each move you make. The levels are littered with enemies who are weak to specific types of weapons. You have exactly enough of these weapons laying about the battlefield to clear a path to the exit. You can only carry one weapon at a time, so it's all about problem solving to find out what works best within each stage. If you make a mistake, there's an undo button and a restart option, and as all the levels progress, most people will probably find themselves trying again and again until you work out a solution. There's a real tension that starts to build up, so I wouldn't recommend Griel's Quest if you're looking for a relaxing experience. But if you're eager for a challenging and rewarding action puzzler, you'll most likely enjoy your time with this one. It's currently free to download. SMS Brawl is a one-on-one fighting game for the Genesis using iconic characters found on the Sega Master System. Developed by David Bonifant, it's received a few revisions since its original demo in 2014. You could be forgiven for not knowing half of the roster, but these underappreciated heroes have come together to duke it out for supremacy. Most characters control just how they would in their respective titles. You can jump, perform a basic attack, and make use of a super ability that's unique to who you're playing as. This means Sonic is mostly limited to spinning and Opa Opa can fly around the arena shooting opponents from farther away. The graphics and music are incredibly faithful to the limitations of the Master System, but the gameplay, while basic, is surprisingly fun to experience. The mechanics aren't exactly complex, and the CPU can be kind of cheap sometimes, but you can tell a lot of love went into SMS Brawl, and I think it's a worthy title to add to your collection. Completing the story mode on the highest difficulty even lets you take on Mario, who is playable with a button code on the title screen. Check it out if you're a fan of the 8-bit era. Silver Valley is an action platformer for the Master System released by Mike Games in December of 2017. As a trusted warrior, you're tasked with entering Silver Castle to stop the reign of a dragon who has wiped out most of the inhabitants of Silver Valley. The game oozes commercial quality, and most of the gameplay is reminiscent of the 8-bit Castlevania series. If that alone isn't enough to pique your interest, the gameplay changes from platforming segments to aerial battles to rafting on the water. There's nods to other games from the 80s, including a version of Pac-Man to try your hand at in a town in between the action. The sprite work and music really take advantage of what the Master System was capable of. Impressively scaled boss battles keep you motivated to press forward, and you really don't know what's coming next. For fans of classic hack and slash games, you can't really go wrong giving Silver Valley a try. This one is also free to download. Galactic Revenge is another title by Mike Games released in 2018 for the Master System. You play as a human fighting to avenge her boyfriend who was killed by an alien cyborg, but mostly because he stole your game console. Taking inspiration from the NES game Gremlins 2, the action takes place from a top-down perspective. Navigating through your enemy's spacecraft, you jump and blast away through alien robots and creatures as well as platforms and hazards. Collecting coins can help you along the way, as you can purchase different suits that grant you special abilities. Much like Silver Valley, there are pop culture references such as a playable version of Pong that you can enjoy to catch a breather. The experience is fast and enjoyable, with my only gripe being that most of the environments look the same. However, since you're on the same spacecraft for the entirety of your adventure, it makes sense that Galactic Revenge would maintain a consistent atmosphere. While it can be beaten in about an hour, this free run and gun is a welcome addition to the Master System's library. I can't wait to see what this developer comes up with next. Alex Kidd in Miracle World 2 was a collaborative work published by SEGA 8-Bit in 2017. What started as a simple ROM hack eventually evolved into a sequel to the original SEGA mascot's most beloved adventure. Alex Kidd has a rather large cult following, and this game's events take place directly after the first Miracle World. On a quest to find your father, you're taken through diverse environments, bashing blocks and baddies while collecting money and progressing to the end of each level. There are shops available where you can purchase vehicles and power-ups to help you along the way, and the action changes quite a bit from one level to the next, varying enough to keep you invested in the journey laid out in front of you. I never owned a Master System as a kid, but I really get a kick out of experiencing what kind of games made this console so special. There's certainly more graphically impressive games out there, but I really think you'll enjoy this cute yet challenging platformer that was lovingly crafted by the fans for the fans. That about does it for this time, but I'd love to hear if there are other new games for older consoles that I might have missed. Leave your thoughts and comments below, and consider liking or subscribing if you'd like to support me. Thank you, as always, for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.